So boom, as I say, Virginia defeats number 8 Florida State, and this is wild. Chandler Moore's a 5 total touchdowns from UNT. Uh, this kid told y'all what he wanted to go to Virginia for to do. I know he made some. I know he made a quote or two in the offseason saying some stuff. People were like, "Oh, what? You're crazy," blah blah blah. And this kid went over there and he just knocked off number 8 Florida State. That actually goes together, number 8 Florida State. But it kind of rhymes. But dude, I am so. Here's what I'll say. Florida State looks like to me, like I think people have to understand about Florida State is you have to kind of re-envision how you look at them because it's like Mike Norvell. It's almost like Mike Norvell's in year one again because of the attrition happened on the roster and they didn't do a good job recruiting. It's like Mike Norvell's starting over at Florida State again. So I think you have to look at Florida State like that, having an 8-4, having an 8-4, 7-5 season might be what it is because it's like it's year one all over again because the level of talent at Florida State or the level of talent slash production is not high because you know it's not because Virginia ran the ball like wild versus Florida State. They couldn't stop the run at a high level. They don't have high level players all over the field like they did a couple years ago, and because they didn't stack recruiting classes like they should have because they went 2-10, that kind of stuff, and it kind of reset them. Like people have to understand that this it's like I look at it like Mike Norvell's in year one again, especially with a whole new coaching staff with a whole lot of new players that aren't really all that. It's like he's in year one again. Tony White got shredded. That was ugly for Tony White and his staff. To let Virginia 46 points on you says a lot about your defense. Florida State, y'all gotta understand. Stop looking at Bama like a name. I mean, stop looking at Bama like a team. Look at them like a name. Because y'all think beating Bama makes you not championship contenders. Nick Saban is no longer there. Tommy Castellano said it best. Nick Saban can't save you. He's not there anymore. Stop looking at Bama like they're some juggernaut. Because they're not. I'm just telling you now. Even if they beat you, I'm telling you, Bama's not a juggernaut. They're gonna lose multiple more games this year. They're gonna be. They might be same record as Florida State, 8-4, 7-5. That program is not a juggernaut. It's not like when Saban was there. Beating Bama meant something when Saban was there. Beating them now don't really mean nothing. It don't mean much because they ain't all that. That's what I gotta understand about Bama. So understand that about Bama. And so stop thinking, oh, they be best their national contenders. Stop. Look at Bama less like a number team and look at them like a name. Like, okay, beat people. Oh, they beat Bama. That's just a name now. Like, yeah, it's cool they beat Bama, but Bama's not what they used to be. Stop looking at the logo on the helmet. Look at the team. Bama's not all that of a team. How do you watch Bama and think, oh yeah, that's a national championship contending team? Air Force they beat them, so they're gonna be national contenders. You don't. You don't. And this just tells you how bad Bama is. What does Bama score? 17 points versus Florida State. They just scored almost 50 with 50. Um, and so that was wild. And so they just look at Bama like y'all look at Bama differently because they're not what they used to be. They're just not anything close, and it's not the same beating them anymore. And it should show you what's not the same anymore because it showed you Florida State isn't all that. Florida State was not a team that shot up in my rankings, or I don't think they're in them at all actually. Because I don't do all this up and down variance because he beat and I knew I had Bama 8-4 before the season started. Them and Georgia, like I didn't look at them high in either light. Like people are hyping on the Georgia game now, but 2 months from now, the Georgia game and Alabama game might end up looking a lot different than it does now. So that's my first thing with Georgia and Bama. But this Florida State team is a team that's restarting and everything. It's almost like they got some good players on both sides of the ball, but they're not loaded like they should be because they've been losing. So like y'all gotta look at it like he's almost come like Mike Norvell's kind of just getting there. And so next year it'll be better. And year after that, hopefully it'll be better. Next year, hopefully it'll be better after the next year. But you gotta look at Florida State like they're almost in year one all over again. And to me, that's how I look at them. They're in year one all over again. They'll be 8-4, 7-5, lose to Miami, that kind of stuff. Um, but they're in year one all over again with Mike Norvell, and he did it to himself. And this is what you get. I think Tony White's a superstar in the coaching world, but at the end of the day, he has players that he didn't recruit, and dudes who just don't fit what he wants to do, and they aren't high level players. You got to give these guys some time to stack recruiting classes and not stack out of the portal class and keep building this roster out to fit what they want to do. Gus Malzahn and Antonio are both first year guys there, so these are not their guys. These are just guys that they got whatever they could from the portal and try to put people wherever they fit best. They brought in James Williams. By the way, he's been a letdown. I don't know what money Florida State wasted on him, but that was a big waste of money. Nebraska, I'm telling you right now, Nebraska, I'll tell you right now, you didn't lose anything losing James Williams. A lot of these big edge rushers, Nebraska lost 3 edge rushers, and 2 of the 3 of them ain't done nothing. Only one that's done something is Prince Well, and we knew that because his brother is Prince Lee, and he was a beast. But that's only I think Riley Richardson Nebraska lost that actually is actually a value and doing something else, that doing something at the school he left, at the school he went to. James Williams is a waste of NIL money. That kid don't do nothing. I don't know what he doing on the field. He made no impact in the game. He didn't show up. That's the one thing I will say I'm disappointed in. This kid's hyped up to be his next big time FSU player, and he is not showing up. He didn't show up at all in the game. He stinks. I don't want to hear about him no more. I wouldn't even really hear about him, but I don't want to hear about him no more. He ain't all that. He got a little more growing to do. And I was wasting NIL money, to be honest with you. He wasn't all that. So that didn't help either. The money you did spend, it went on players who just ain't crap. So, yeah. And then for Virginia, Virginia's 4-1. They lost to NC State. And he said people don't understand how good NC State is, but Virginia's 4-1. People have to understand. This Virginia team, Tony Elliott was a former coordinator for Dabo Sweeney at Clemson, and you see how that's going with that offense. He was a former offensive coordinator for Dabo Sweeney at Clemson. Look at Clemson's offense since he's left; it ain't been the same. All right, so we know that. So I'm impressed. I'm impressed with what he's done. Virginia's gonna be a program to be reckoned with. This is a big program-changing win. This is a big recruiting win. He's gonna be able to go to a portal now with some. Well, he's gonna have some NIL backing, and then he's gonna have to be able to go to recruiting now and be able to recruit some bigger time players. I'm telling you, I think Tony Elliott's gonna be a rising name. He's gonna. This is really impressive. What him and Kellen Moore's gonna do might be able to keep Virginia, might be able to raise Virginia back up to where they want to be, which is with the top in the ACC. And what that guy can coach. He can coach. He shouldn't show last night. He can coach. And when you give that kind of guy, they start coaching. They start upsetting people, and then they start going to get better players. Then you start building top programs. And I honestly think he could be a Dabo Sweeney in a way. He can kind of bring that program back. And start winning big time games with them. So it'll be interesting to watch. But Virginia and Tony Elliott, definitely that was an A+ hire. Um, I knew he was there. I've been watching him, but it's good. Man, they may have found something in him. People didn't talk about the hire. No one really talked about him. When he left and when he was in Virginia, but they may have found a special one in that guy. He may be a Dabo Sweeney down there. So that was a really good hire. He's gonna bring this program up, and they're gonna win games with him as a head coach. And it ain't gonna be they're not just gonna win the games they're supposed to. They're gonna win games they're not supposed to. And that home crowd environment is ridiculous. That was an amazing home crowd environment. That Virginia is very underrated when it comes to home crowd environment. That was phenomenal. They had to tell them to quiet down on fourth down when they were going for it. They were all in it. They got students right there on the thing. You talking to them. It was phenomenal. I loved it. I loved the field storming. Now, I don't love how some people act during the field storming, but that's how some people are in this world, because they don't know Christ. But um, look, man, I love it, and I love the environment. And then when it comes to the field storming, I'll say this: I have no problem with it. I just think as players, like I wish I should say I'll pray that some people have more self control and don't go around flipping people off on the way off the field. I don't feel as that is as if that's not necessary to flip somebody off or to cuss them out while they running in their face. But look, the players have to have self control at the end of the day. And I'll put it like this: people who run around, that's where you get me wrong. People who go around flipping people off on a field storming, I just think they should be banned. Like that's how I feel about it. If you're gonna field storm, but don't incite somebody to not. The players should not react to it. But don't go around flipping somebody off and putting your phone in their face, recording them. Like that's not how I think people should act. If you're gonna field storm, run to the team. Don't run and ignore the other. I think that's how it should be. Because if you start saying, okay, if this is how you do it. You tell people, look, we're gonna we see these videos. We all see them, right? We're gonna find out who's making these videos, and you're gonna be banned. You're never gonna be back. You're gonna be banned for the rest of your. I'm banning you 2-3 years later. See you. See you. You might not even be alive by then. So that mean you may last time you ever get to enjoy a Virginia game. Um, so that's how I look at it. I think for your universities, look, field storming is not going to stop, and it shouldn't stop. This is where I'm at with it. I think it's amazing. It was make college football, and the NCAA trying to find people stupid to me. I just found it stupid. But what I think they should do is these people that are filming and going up to these players and harassing them after the game. Those are the people they need to find out who those people are and ban them. That's where I'm at with it. Find out who's making those videos, and because we know you can, we know you can. We know you can figure out who make those videos and who's recording them and ban those students. Because you start doing that, let me tell you this: the students gonna stop doing it. When they start figuring, oh yeah, like they need to do a better job of getting cameras out there so they can see who is antagonizing players and then get those people's faces and then ban them and let them and get them out the stadium because that's why I don't like field storming. I think, but when you start doing that, then fans will stop doing it because you get banned for a year or 2 years. You're not gonna. I better just go and not even bother that player because if they catch me bothering, same thing. Everybody knows you get once you get caught and punished, you're gonna be like next time you're gonna think you're gonna second guess it, but oh. Yeah, or the next student, the next freshman in a couple of years gonna be like, oh yeah, I remember when that person. I don't want that to be me. I'm not even gonna say nothing to him. I'm just gonna go run with the team. I think that's how I look at it, right? So I think that is where I look at it. You need to start banning people for how they're acting. If they're not acting accordingly and they're inciting players to act a certain way, they need to be banned, flat out. Um, you know, so that's where I'm at with it. But I love field storming. It will make college football. And the players need to have self control. They don't need to react. And the Bible talks about that. Just letting people go, because God will, let God have the revenge. Let Him handle those people, and He'll handle them. People who don't know how to act and that kind of stuff. They want you to react. Just let it go. God will handle them. It'll be His revenge that He'll get for you. He'll take care of it. Don't worry. And what He deems necessary, and let God handle it, man. I just think these players have to have self control and just let it go. Right? These people are gonna come run their mouth to me and that kind of stuff. I don't really care because who even are you, anyways? You're some student that ran out on the field. Maybe not say who even are you, like they're below you, but just like, bro, like these people, they're emotionally charged. Their team just won. Like, they don't even know you. They don't even, like, don't let these people, don't let random people pick. Like, we always say, oh, well, I don't care what people to say about me. Well, then don't just say it, but live it. It's one thing to say I don't care what people say about me. When somebody comes to your face and says something, then you get pissed off. You care what people say about you. Why do you care about some random person who don't know you just coming to antagonize you, and they just excited because their team just won? Why do you care what they gotta say? Just move on. You don't know me, I don't know you, and I don't give a damn what you gotta say, how you feel about me, because you don't know me like that. That's how I feel about it personally. And so like these players need to say like, bro, you don't know me. You know what I mean? You coming in because the team just won. Like, you don't know me. I don't care what you gotta say. You can do whatever, but I don't care. But the NCAA has to do a better job of getting these people banned from stadiums. I'm saying now they need a better job. These players cannot be antagonized like that. There needs to be a punishment for antagonizing players the way they're doing it. It's ridiculous. So I'll put it like that. But Virginia, monumental win. Florida State, get ready for 8 and 4, 7 and 5.